You are looking at Championship Court here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden on this beautiful Saturday evening. Well, it's early evening. It's almost dinner time. It feels like evening here. It's 5:04 local time here in California, and if you're in the East, it's just after 8. I'm your host, Mark Renison, here for Live at Nationals, and you're looking at a match that's about to be the Women's Pro Gold. This is the big one. And we've got two teams that we've seen throughout the day. We saw all these players earlier. Anna-Leigh Waters and her mother, Leigh Waters, on the right side of your screen. Anna-Leigh Waters getting ready to serve, and she's going to serve to Catherine Parenteau. And her partner, Jessie Irvine, on the left side of your screen. This is the best 2 out of 3 match. 2-11. The winner is going to get the gold medal and $5,000 for their team. And the loser is going to get the silver and $3,000.
Nice
and
job.
If that first point is any indication, we're going to be in for a little bit of a firefight out there. We're going to see a lot of quick hits back and forth from close to the line. After this point, I'll introduce one of our guests. Actually, you've been with us yesterday, yeah. So I'll reintroduce our guest who was here earlier this week. Melissa McCurley joins us again. No stranger. Melissa, we've had a chance to work together a lot here on the broadcast here at the USA Pickleball National Championships and other events. And we have a special guest as well. And special guest, I don't know if you know this, if you've been watching. When we have special guests for the first time in the booth, we like to give people a few minutes without identifying them so they get to try to guess who it is. And so you can...
What do I need to talk? I mean, if I say something, they're going to know who it is.
We have no clue.
I mean,
Has anyone
come on.
ever heard that voice?
I know. It's too easy, that accent.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope they can understand me talking. That would be pretty important, I
Well,
guess.
right now we see Anna-Leigh Waters and Jessie Irvine going cross-court. All of a sudden it's switched up, and we see Parenteau and Leigh going on that diagonal. That ball sits up a little too high.
And I know I'm really excited, Simone, that you are here because you're going to give us some insights that we otherwise would not be able to have. You know, certainly would love to be seeing you out there on the court instead this evening, but it's a real treat to have you here in the booth tonight.
I mean, it's great to be here, to be honest. It was a great 2 days. Corinne and I battled through some really tough matches, had some good wins, and we came close, but, you know, only good for hand grenades and horseshoes. But honestly, Catherine and Jessie played great, had a great strategy, and I'll be interested to see how they do this time around. They had a good start when they played them the first time and kind of allow the momentum to shift. And then the Waters turned it around the first time around when they played. And in the second game, late in the second game, and then in the third game, it was Waters all the way. So,
And within about 14 seconds of me suggesting people guess who our special guest is, 94 people chimed in and said, I know that voice, Simone Jardine. Simone,
hello, everybody.
Pleasure to have you here. We've enjoyed watching you out here today, earlier with Corinne Carr. As you say,
Enough about me. Really quickly. So I actually am really lucky because I get to spend a lot of time with Catherine. She lives across the street from me, and we are going to start working together. But, you know, Catherine is such a good player, and she's a fighter. She tries so hard, and along with Jessie, they've been doing really well this year. When they are in the zone, they're you know, a tough team to beat. Of course, we didn't do it yesterday or today. But then you gotta also talk about the Waters. Leigh is just unbelievable. That woman is so good. And, you know, of course, Anna-Leigh at 12 is pretty incredible. She's great for the sport. And she's just a great player. Their style of play is brought the game to much more exciting. I think a lot of people, they keep saying that they love watching women's pickleball better than the men, but that's because of that, because it's fast. It's more exciting, I guess.
Well,
you know.
it is a very exciting time right now, and especially when we see sort of matchups that you know, sometimes you get two teams that play sort of very similarly. Other times you get sort of real differences. You know, we've seen, for example, in the mixed doubles, we saw the Newmans out earlier, who are really sort of defensive specialists, and watching them match up against these powerhouse teams. Here, is it fair to say, Simone, that these two teams play a relatively similar game style?
I would say yes. They love power, but it's like initiating and kind of off of countering. So like Leigh likes to initiate. You know, she will generate that power the first opportunity she gets. She's got an amazing, on that left side, she can hook that ball, come into the body, to the forehand hip so well. That's why she can take that ball. And then with that backhand, she missed it there, but with that backhand, she comes, I mean, that thing is ripped so hard and low, right into the body.
So strategically, Simone, so they lost Catherine and Jessie earlier today to these two. So strategically, what do you think they have to do differently to have a different outcome here tonight?
To me, I love that little kid. I think she's amazing. I think that right there is good, but I don't think she should go there again. That sometimes is danger. Nice. That one. I just believe that, you know, she is amazing. Leigh is amazing. But if you get Leigh that middle ball at any moment, I think she gets on the groove. Going behind her is great, but I think that if they want to have a chance of winning, they are going to have to, you know, play smart. Oh, there you go. So not giving the middle to Leigh. And if they go to Leigh, you know, they have to go to her feet. She you know, she's 12. She's and she plays a little bit off the line, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a style that works very well for her. She's very good at it. And, you know, she's ready.
We talked a little bit earlier about by standing further back off the line, as you see Leigh Waters there. One is it can sort of bait the opponents to hit the ball to her. She's perceived as a little bit less of a threat the further back she is. And so that's a way to relieve a little bit of the pressure that may be on your partner by standing a bit further back. It also allows more time when defending against drives. And if a ball does get dinked that you choose to let bounce by being a bit further back, that allows the ball to bounce up, maybe to its peak, and maybe as it gets a little bit higher, it becomes, instead of a ball that you merely have to neutralize with, something you can actually speed things up and attack.
That's good.
And she gave us an example of that bait that you were talking about just as you started to lead into it, Mark.
It's always nice when the players do what you ask of them when you're here in the broadcast booth as we look at the replay powered by Selkirk.
And you mentioned, Simone, a little bit earlier that you'll be working more with Catherine. I mean, you guys have history already, right, from Michigan State University when you were the head coach there, and she was one of your players and students, and I know she's learned a lot from you.
Well, she's a great kid. I mean, I can't say enough about her, but she knows I love her. It's awful competing against her. She hit me on the head today. She felt bad though. I know it's so bad because I know she was like wanting to ask a timeout, and I was like, I'm fine. I just put my head down and took one in the noggin. But you know, and then yesterday, of course, we're playing, and she dives for a ball, and we had dinner together last night. I was like, what are you doing? Like, you can let one go, and then, you know, she like has a huge scab on her knee from diving.
That's right. You'll see she did have a little break at the discretion of the referees yesterday to get bandaged up, and she's back out there today. Seems no worse for wear as Leigh Waters tries to unload with that backhand. Jessie Irvine finishes it off. Just want to remind people, one of the really nice things about doing the live stream here is it gives us an opportunity to interact with you at home if you're watching. And I know Melissa and I and Simone, for sure, if you have questions that you'd like to ask us, or even just say hello and tell us where you're watching from, we'd love to hear from you. So send us a little note here on Facebook. Be sure to hit like, and if you're watching on YouTube, gently caress that subscribe button, and that way you'll get all the notifications you need.
Like that one.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one.
I mean, tomorrow we got some singles action going on, and people are going to want to see that. So hit subscribe or hit like, and be sure to share with your friends so they can watch this great women's pro pickleball as well.
Yeah, and I know I'm hoping to see a lot of pickleball here. There's quite the crowd here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden on this beautiful championship court. I know that Jessie and Catherine, if they were to win this 2 out of 3, will get some overtime pickleball, some 1 to 15 action.
So Anna Leigh, that ball that she just took with a forehand and cross course, that's so tough because that ball stays so low.
Leigh Waters doing a good job. Simone, I wonder if you could offer some insight. When we watch the men play, we see a lot of combinations where it's a third shot and a poach. And sometimes it's a drop poach combination, but often we're seeing those drive poach combinations where the person driving the ball back from the baseline hits and their partner starts to move forward early, and then really, as that ball almost whizzes right by them, they go and take up the middle of the court. And we notice that we don't always see the women use that third shot followed by the poach combination a little bit. And I'm wondering if you could say something about sort of the risks and rewards, that calculation that gets to be made about what might cause a team to do that drive poach combination versus hanging back.
I mean, I think that a lot of us do it. It's just like also executing. I think that there is the intent to do that. I think that you'll see with Anna Leigh and Leigh that Anna Leigh will take the majority of the thirds, and Leigh's starting to move forward, looking to take that next ball and finish it. That's so good. Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Yeah, they covered up that middle very well.
Oh. That's so much power, though. Like when Leigh's hitting that ball with that much power, and Catherine gets that ball back into the kitchen. So I think there is always that intent, but it's also a lot of the times because the power is always there. You know, it's like 2 dinks and power. A lot of the times you see that it doesn't stay dinking very long. So I feel like a lot of the women are ready for that volley behind.
Yeah, and you can certainly see that. Catherine's got some outstanding power and some reaction herself. And Simone, I've been kind of watching ever since you were telling us about if there is going to be a weak spot that you find, it would be behind Leigh Waters when she's on the side she's at now.
Please turn your cell phones off.
Something's happening here.
I would call the score.
Jessie Irvine.
There's a phone going off somewhere.
It's a line judge. There you go, a little line judge. Getting some calls. I mean, it's Saturday night after all.
Maybe she's like, I see you. They wanted to call her and tell her.
I see on the live stream with Simone.
Yeah. Pick it up.
It was Jessie Irvine that said, hey, I got enough to worry about out here. I don't also want fielding your phone calls for you. Meanwhile, the score is 4-4-2 here. Irvine and Parenteau unloading with that backhand. And Anna Leigh tries to get out of trouble. They're going to keep trying. A little bit more. They're going to need a drop if they want to reset the point. Can't quite get it. It's going to lead to a side out, and it seems like that's
a
brief
point,
interruption.
5-4.
Thanks, Simone. It's that brief interruption. Didn't seem to bother
5-4-2.
Jessie and Catherine.
That's a good spot.
That was well defended because that opening was there.
So well defended with a full swing from
Yes.
Jessie.
And that was well done, too. You could find both Leigh and Anna Leigh on the retreat there, and Jessie just put it at their feet.
All right, looks like Waters going to take a timeout to talk it over. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. We'll be back in a moment with more of game number 1 in this gold medal women's pro match. Mark Renneson, Simone Jardim, and Melissa McCurley live at Nationals.
Margaritaville. It's not just a state of mind. Now it's a place to live. Introducing Latitude Margaritaville. New homes in 55 and better communities where you can live the Margaritaville lifestyle every day. Find your new home at latitudemargaritaville.com.
We're back live at Nationals. Mark Renneson alongside Melissa McCurley and Simone Jardim, and we're here on beautiful center court here at the Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships.
Side out.
And what?
Whoops.
There you go. You're in. We got you now, Simone.
No,
so
that
you said that was
she's
a great
been-
shot. What was great about that?
She rolled it. So she's been doing such a good job, both forehand and backhand. She's rolling Anna-Leigh with some topspin. See, it looks like a full swing, but she's actually taking the pace off and just brushing the ball, which when the ball bounces, then when the ball bounces, it skids, and because of the top spin. So it's much harder than like a flat dink or even a slice sometimes because of that top spin.
Right, and one of the reasons she can have that acceleration yet still not overhit the ball is the short backswing before the impact point. And so you can still accelerate in a pretty relaxed way through the ball to create the spin without it overhitting. It's very often the longer backswing that players have, that's what often gives too much power to those dinks, which then sits it up too high and your opponents can attack. So it's really critical that the backswing on a dink, even a power dink, which we might call that, is very compact.
So I've noticed too, Simone, that Catherine and Jessie, they stack on this side here. Now, I don't see that from Anna-Leigh and Leigh. Are they just as powerful on whichever side they're on?
No, so they stack. They changed their strategy right now.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's good. So usually Leigh will play on the left side and Anna-Leigh will play on the right. But I think that they decided to put... wow. Oh, man.
Little miscommunication there between Irvine and Parenteau. Each thought the other was going to hit it for a moment. That ball goes out, and you can't afford, Simone, very many of those mistakes where you're not quite on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and they're just giving different looks here because they went back.
Yeah, they went back, and I was just wondering, is that something they typically do?
No, usually I know for a fact that, Leigh loves playing on the left side. She's really good at that left side. She can play both, no doubt about it, but she just feels that she's better, more confidence there. And so because they've been playing, together for a while, that's usually what they do, but also they are able and willing to change it up if they have to. I think right now what it is happening a little bit, and that's why Leigh's thinking of changing, is because Catherine is getting a little bit of the best of Anna-Leigh on the head-to-head. Yeah.
All right, and here they did it again.
Yeah.
Simone Jardine almost looks like she knows what she's talking about out here. And these players are going to talk about things to themselves. They're going to take a quick timeout. Waters. They need a breather before this first game gets away from them. We'll take a breather too. Back in a second, live at Nationals.
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong stumbles. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement. If he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Around. There we go. That's a beautiful wave. Let's hear it for these ladies out here.
Ready.
All right, welcome back to Live at Nationals. Catherine Parenteau serving on the right side. She's going to serve and switch to the left part of the court so she can set up that forehand in the middle. Meanwhile, Jessie Irvine gets handcuffed there and that ball landing near her feet. And she'll take on serving duties from the left side. Would love to get a short ball that she could pounce on. Speaking of pouncing, there's young Waters. There she is again. Love how Catherine backs up there to defend.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
That forehand hip, eh?
Good on you, eh?
I went home the other night after playing in the doubles event, and I had 3 really nice marks on my body, all on the right side, right around that hip.
That's
Nice
trouble.
Nice to have little souvenir here from Indian Wells and the Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships. Right now we've got a game point. 10-6-2. Parenteau, Irvine looking to close it out.
Oh.
That ball finds the purple, and that means it's in.
And that's
Parenteau and Irvine, they take game number 1 in this best-of-3 match. I feel like Waters are going to have something to say, and after they say something to each other, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and see what happens in game number 2 here. Live at Nationals Women's Doubles Pro Gold.
Yeah, so she...
The 2019 Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships are brought to you by Margaritaville, Latitude Margaritaville, Pickleball Central, Head Pickleball, Selkirk Sport, Fila Pickleball, and the City of Indian Wells. Welcome back to Live at Nationals here at the Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships of 2019. We're in Indian Wells, California, and we just watched Jessie Irvine and Catherine Parenteau take game number 1 here against the mother-daughter dynamic duo of Leigh and Annalie Waters.
And Simone and I were chatting just a little bit in between the games, and so so I was talking. What does Annalie and Leigh have to change here to have a different outcome in game 2?
So what I was saying is there's a few different things. So if they stay in this pattern, they're gonna have to be more patient. Annalie cannot, because the ball is coming at her feet, and because again, Catherine, so that, oh, nice. So that is going to get them in trouble if she keeps taking balls from her feet, because they're able to just put that ball back, you know, because the ball is coming down up, then they're getting back to the feet. So either she stays more patient, waits for the right ball, and stay on that pattern, on the cross-court pattern, and let mom take over, or they switch sides.
So as we get here into the start of game number 2, Simone, one thing that I'd say I sort of anecdotally observed during this tournament when we're watching the pro and senior pro events is it seems to me like players are using lobs a little more than I've seen recently. Not so much as defensive shots when in trouble, although there are moments we see that, but these offensive lobs where their opponents are close to the line, maybe they've gotten into like sort of a few dinks in a row, and then that ball gets flicked up high, often cross-court. I don't think we've seen a lob yet in this match, have we?
No, and this is not. Oh,
Jessie.
And I don't think this is gonna work too well. Like earlier today, honestly, we're throwing lobs. It was mainly because it was so sunny that we're trying to like stay in the point, stay alive, and using the lob more like hoping that the sun gets in the way. Right now, I just don't foresee the lobs working so much, just because. You know, and at least sometimes it's tough to lob because she is a little further back from the line. And you know, both Catherine and Jessie have great overheads. I mean, Jessie's got a backhand overhead that is unbelievable. So I don't foresee it, and they like the power better than that. Yeah, that's
that poach that we talked about, right? Taking that ball over the middle of the court, as we see here on the replay powered by Selkirk. Leigh Waters coming across to get that ball. Annalie was a bit further back. You know, we can stay along here on the court during this timeout, and maybe can I tell you two about some stuff?
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
You want to know a thing or two?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Let's see. What can I tell you about?
Something exciting?
Oh yeah, we got lots of exciting things out there. Okay, I got one. Did you know that if you stop by the Franklin booth to demo and purchase, well, you can stop by. I mean, you can just chat if you want. You don't have to purchase anything. There's nice people over there in the Franklin booth. But if you do go, you could demo and then maybe even purchase the new Ben John's signature paddle.
Benny Boy.
It's true.
Benny Boy.
Yeah, we want to thank them for their support of this year's national tournament. As well as those paddles, they have some paddle covers. We're seeing a few more players protecting their piece of equipment. And some paddle covers over there. They're right near Championship Court. Meanwhile, back on Championship Court at 4-4-1, Annalie Waters serving. Parenteau sends it back deep to Mom. And that ball clips off the net and then off the hand of Jessie Irvine. Not a lot she can do with that ball. And, sometimes when things are not going your way, then the ball clips off the net and you can't do anything.
And it's a beautiful night here, Mark and Simone. I mean, there's no breeze. It's not cold. It's just the conditions are just right.
Still waiting for my first breeze of the tournament. I was telling some of the viewers earlier that this morning I thought I saw my first cloud since I've been here. 9 days already. I thought I saw a cloud. Wrong, it was a bird.
A bird, yeah.
I've not seen a cloud, and as you said, Simone, it was so sunny today. Sometimes when it is that sunny and there's no contrast from the clouds, it's actually pretty tough to handle those high lobs as a smash. And we saw a number of players who normally have amazing overheads sort of mistime those balls. Saw a couple go into the stands off the smash attempt.
And the lights here at Indian Wells Tennis Garden are
amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
And one reason you can tell that is how minimal the shadows are out there on the court, and shadows are tough to play in, and so the way they have the lights positioned, and they really do a first-class job here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. Fred Hartzman and his crew. Right now, 1-6-1, Jessie Irvine and Catherine Parenteau. They have some work to do here to try to not let this game go to this match go to a third game.
Yeah, so right now
some patience.
Some patience. I just you're seeing more errors here in game 2. I haven't really seen anything just change strategically. Just the errors have been the difference so far.
But I think in a way, Leigh putting a little bit of pressure, but then Leigh being the one that kind of sets it up. Oh.
Yeah, and that's the pressure you were talking about. She was thinking that her mom was going to come through
take over.
Yeah.
Well, because she has been taking over a few. So.
2-6-2.
People asking about the schedule tomorrow. You can head over to pickleballtournaments.com and you can see the schedule for tomorrow. You can also go over to usapickleballnationals.com and you can see all the information about the schedule as well as the events that we have here. Wow.
Oh, yeah, that was well set up.
I love the angle that she played on that. I mean, the power was impressive. You can hear it, in the crowd when she hits up all that hard, but really it was the angle that mattered the most there, not even letting Parenteau and Irvine get their paddles on the ball.
And there's that overhead backhand you were talking about. What talent that must take.
And I think also from her background in pop tennis or paddle tennis? I know that the backhand is huge, and I think that has a lot to do. But her backhand is definitely her strongest shot, and she can do it with one hand, which is even more impressive. So it's literally all right arm.
Yeah. And this is her first national. She wasn't here last year.
Yeah, I think she started playing. That's what we were talking the other day, and she started playing about that time.
Simone, Jeff Millar would like to say from Naples, Florida, how proud he is of you and how you did here in the mixed gold and the bronze and doubles.
Yeah, Simone has a lot of fans watching with us tonight.
No doubt.
Ryan Pang is asking, wait a minute, is Anna-Leigh really just 12?
Yes, she is. She's 2 years. So Anna-Leigh and I are the same age. Anna-Leigh, sorry, not Anna-Leigh. I wish. Yeah, I need some sleep.
You were the same age about 18 years ago?
I wish 18.
Yeah, because you did have a birthday
more like
this
28,
week.
Dude. So
I was hoping you out there, though.
Yeah, so Leigh and I were born in the same year, the fabulous year of 79. And we actually have daughters that are about the same age. So Anna-Leigh is 12 and my daughter is 10. And I told Leigh, I was like, you know how incredible your kid is, because first of all, my kids were here at the beginning of the week, and she let my 6-year-old boy hold her hand for a whole day. It made his day. Yeah. Like, I mean, I have photos of them together. It was just the cutest thing. He has a crush on her. But then also my daughter, who does not play pickleball, she's like, I want to play pickleball. Because she saw, Anna-Leigh hanging out with all of the boys, the junior boys. I mean, they're so cute, like amazing talent. And she inspired my little girl to want to play. So I am very thankful for that.
Well, Jessie Irvine is very thankful she got a high forehand to put away right there. And speaking of which, before we go back to this match, I know last night Irina Terashenko was here in the booth talking to us about the junior party that happened last night. And we're talking about how special that must be for all these young and up-and-coming players to see people like yourself, Simone, out there. And, you know, the same way that some of us may have looked up to certain professional athletes when we were kids, now as pickleball continues to grow and have this real foothold in the mainstream culture, we know that there's lots of kids that are looking up to players like you and like the 4 women that we're seeing out here today.
Absolutely. And all amazing role models in there. Wow. What a shot.
And just one other thing I'll say about Anna-Leigh at the Texas Open, she took the time to referee the juniors matches at that tournament, and those kids really appreciated that, and it was so great to see her giving back to the game in that way.
Catherine Parenteau gives one more ball back to the Waters team. They set it up high, and again we see Jessie, and gotta say earlier on in a different match we saw, I gotta say, it seemed like Jessie was a little bit shakier on that backhand side. Sometimes with one hand, sometimes with two, and it was really the forehand that was really finishing off points. We're gonna stay here during this timeout, and should I tell you two about a couple other things?
Yes. yes.
Yes, please.
Oh, I know a lot. Here, let's see. Here's one of the things I know about. But as we get closer to dinner time, 5:36, local time, you might want a sandwich, some nachos, maybe a hot dog or chicken sandwich. You can head over to Feeding Frenzy by Margaritaville.
And get your frenzy on.
Oh yeah, you get your frenzy on. That'd be great. And yeah, that'd be a nice way to spend. Probably not right now during this timeout, but maybe after this match, before the boys come out.
Yeah.
Don't want to miss the Hall of Fame presentation because that's coming up after this. Between those two matches, they're doing a little ceremony for some of the recent inductees into the Pickleball Hall of Fame, and that's going to be really special, I think, for both the people being inducted, but also the fans here as they take their seats and get ready for Jessie Irvine to serve. They're down 4-8-2, but they are up a game.
No.
Oh, just wide.
A little bit of out of reach there as we look at the replay. Powered by our friends at Selkirk Sport. 5-8-2, Jessie Irvine trying to claw their way back here, and that's a poor effort on that forehand. Want to make the Waters team play another ball. 8-5-1, Anna-Leigh, referee extraordinaire.
Oh, nice hands. And Jessie's seeing a lot of balls in this particular game. So I don't know, if it wasn't that way in game 1. So maybe that's part of their strategy in game 2, keeping that ball away from Catherine.
Well, Catherine did. Catherine did. She used to live on the other side of the state. Near them, so they used to practice together.
Oh, they did.
And I mean, that's how Catherine and Leigh played some tournaments together as well. So I think Catherine is definitely more familiar with their game, where Jessie is not. So I think what usually works with, especially like people that have never faced them. They're surprised by how they can take some really low shots and make it work. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like the ball is like at their shoelaces, and they still, you get out of the way and you think, oh, it's going way out, and with the amount of spin that they put on the ball, then it stays in.
Speaking of low shots, Leigh Waters just hit that forehand drive into the net. That's going to turn into a side out, and it was too bad for them because they did have a game point. Jessie Irvine showing no signs of hesitation on that backhand right now.
And that ball got up on her, and certainly at this level it gets up. That's trouble.
6-10-1 as Irvine drops it gently into the kitchen. Ball is called. Ooh, that's going to be disputed.
I didn't see it. I'm watching feet.
Yeah.
They need to go with the linesman.
So,
that's tough. So in that case, just in case those watching didn't see it, Jessie Irvine called that ball out. Now players are accustomed to doing that because usually they're not playing with line judges out there. So she saw the ball out, she called it out, and it was only after she called it and then hit it even that the line judge called it out. And referee Roxanne Pierce not in a position to overrule that one, although
I mean,
feel like Leigh Waters wanted to overrule that one.
Yeah, well, her responsibility is to watch feet with players at the line. So it's hard for her to overrule a call that she's, you know.
Right. Her responsibility is to watch that non-volley zone
It's one of the reasons why there's some talk about starting to involve one more referee who is dedicated to watching the non-volley zone, while the main referee can watch sort of the general course of play and follow the ball. But anyway, here we are at 7-2-2. That's going to feel good in the morning.
I like how Leigh just smile laughed, kind of like, uh-oh.
I'm in trouble.
Whoops.
8-10-2, Catherine Parenteau
left that
serving.
one out. Left that one off. Right.
One of the things we haven't talked about yet is Jessie's reach. She has tremendous reach leaning into that kitchen with a lot of power in that reach as well.
All right, right now there's a lot of power on the side of Waters. They're serving at 10-8-1. This is game point. They could send it to a third here if they can close this rally out.
That's that spot. Nice. She's ready. That's great dink. Nice.
They're very low.
There we go. Jessie Irvine can't quite finish off that backhand. This is, in fact, going to go to a third game, and you see the crowd is coming to their feet. They're happy to see a little more. Even if you're a fan of Irvine and Parenteau, you're probably more of a fan of great pickleball and can be thrilled to watch game 3. We're going to go to a quick timeout, and then we'll be back with game number 3, gold medal women's pro, here at the Margaritaville USA Pickleball National Championships. Welcome back to Live at Nationals. Mark Renison alongside Melissa McCurley. We're happy to have Simone Jardine here in the booth to help us call this gold medal championship match, women's pro pickleball. And if you're just joining us, we've been watching a terrific match here between two really tough teams who, as you can see here in this first point, really have a little bit of everything. They can use spin. They can hit balls flat, they can hit soft when necessary, they can drive it when they get those higher balls, they even can drive it when they get those lower balls. And to me, Simone Jardine, I think one of the things that's most impressive about all 4 of these women is just how well they move on the court.
Well, not only that, but they also read the balls very well, anticipate what's coming. You know, a lot of the times fast hands is one thing, but also being able to anticipate the shot that is coming your way is another big thing. So that's one thing that people don't realize, that they kind of know ahead of time which direction the ball's coming from, but they also know people's tendencies. Like some people have tendencies to go to certain spots, and then if you use that spot too much, then they kind of anticipating, they're reading it, and they're sitting on it.
0-0-2. Neither team putting a point on the board just yet. So we see some good backspin dinking here as that ball sits up a little bit. And Irvine plays a nice reset. And you got to think, after playing that good reset, just for people who aren't totally clear, a reset is typically a ball that when you and your partner are in trouble, when you're under attack, when those balls are coming fast, you need something that's low and slow that forces an upward hit from your opponent. Less likely they can continue that offensive maneuver against you, and you've sort of gone from being in a defensive position to back to more of a neutral one. And that reset, that's sort of the safe time to start to come forward again, because as long as you keep giving them high balls, they're likely to keep hitting hard at you. Don't want to be close to either of these women when they're hitting hard. At least I don't.
No, thank you.
I mean, maybe if one's my partner, but certainly I would not be happy being on the other side of the net as they get a high ball on either the forehand or backhand side.
So it seems like Jessie's baiting Anna-Leigh a little bit to hit hard at her. Like she
How can you tell? What are you seeing?
Well, the first couple points, she gave a dink that was a little bit higher to Anna-Leigh. And then when Anna-Leigh attacked her cross court, she then reversed to her mom and went down the line.
Okay, so this could be breaking news. So are you telling me that sometimes players won't hit the ball as low as they possibly can? Sometimes they'll hit a ball that's almost sort of marginal.
To bait them into attacking.
Oh. We've talked. This is new. This is news to me. We've talked earlier about baiting your opponent.
That was definitely not a bait.
Yeah, no, it was an accidental one. We've talked before about baiting your opponent, what that means hanging back a little bit, pretending you're not such a threat. We've seen in other matches where one player, actually you included, where Corinne Carr will very often stand way over to the left part of the court, sometimes with her foot even outside of the sideline, sort of suggesting that there's a hole in the middle between her forehand and your backhand, kind of baiting them there. And so what you're saying is that sometimes players will hit a dink that sits up a little bit, almost this marginal ball, trying to sort of, kind of like trying to get a fish on the hook.
Well, initiate the speed. They feel like they want the rally to go a certain way, so they initiate it. Yeah, and the pattern also is pretty important. So if you hit a ball that is somewhat soft cross court and now they're attacking it down up cross court, then you're kind of setting your partner up to get killed.
You know what? I am just imagining the collective sighs from our viewers who say, oh man, I spend all my time trying to keep the ball low, and here is Simone Jardim telling me I should sometimes hit it up, but not too high, just high enough that my opponents think they can attack, but in fact, they're wrong.
Well, I mean, honestly, earlier today, Corinne had a great third shot drop that it was kind of high, but the ball was dropping. Like, the kitchen is there for a reason. Now the ball drops and they think, oh, this looks so juicy, I'm going to go ahead and attack it. But now the ball has dropped below the net. See, she didn't take the bait on that one. So, again, it's still soft. She's baiting her into attacking that one. There you go. Oh, look at that. She's ready. But this is the part where sometimes that cross-court attack from down up is going to get you in trouble. Well, not get you, but gets your partner in trouble.
One thing that I saw today twice in both your match and also a men's match is that I see people running around the kitchen on a third shot drop that's coming and taking it out of the air. I don't know that I've seen that very often, but saw it very noticeably.
Ben Johns loves that shot. That's the one that... He is just that way. You know, the ball is not out of the air. You take the ball out of the air, not allowing it to bounce into the kitchen.
So is that now a Ben Johns move? Is that
I mean, I don't know. Kyle has done it, I'm sure, but like I started really playing pickleball and doing a lot more when Ben used to live in Naples, and so when they come up with new things all the time.
It's one of the great things about pickleball, how it evolves and how it really promotes creativity. Meanwhile, as we're back to the action here, we're looking at a score of 3-2-2. Leigh Waters serving from the right side. She'll slide over to the left as Jessie Irvine signals to Parenteau that they're going to play straight up, not switch. That ball catches the top of the net, and that allows young Waters to hit with some speed, and that's just enough to give Mom a higher ball, which she can spin down at Catherine's feet.
Yes, you are. 4-2-2.
Nice to hear that one of our fans, Matthew, and his wife turned tonight into date night.
Nice.
Got a little cocktails, watching a little pickleball, and listening here to this feed, and the crew here that brings you the live stream and makes the audio so great and the camera angles. They're doing a terrific job all tournament long. Anna-Leigh Waters finds the top of the net, knew that she had a chance to get that ball over. It's going to be a side out, and Irvine and Parenteau, they've got some work to do here in this game. Number 3, final one of this gold medal pro women's doubles match.
And if they're successful in that work, Mark, I think we get some extra pickleball tonight.
That's right. To be knocked out of this event, you have to lose twice. And There we go. Oh, we see.
That's
We see
a good
little
timeout.
Yeah, good timeout, you think?
Oh yeah, I mean they were on a groove and then lost a couple points. So I feel like
All right. Well, while you take a timeout and do the chicken dance, maybe I can tell you about a few more things. What should I tell you about here? Oh, I got something for you. Did you know that when you hear "We Are Pickleball," you think of Selkirk Sport? Selkirk works to produce high-performance paddles and accessories with the latest technology, and their main mission is to fuel the pickleball obsession found inside every single player. They are dedicated to not only delivering uncompromising quality and creative excellence through high-performance equipment, but also to improve the pickleball community as a whole. And I know they have improved this broadcast as a whole by powering the instant replay. You see those instant replays here in the pro matches and the senior pro matches. There's there's staff members that work inside this special room here, and they run around on a wheel, and that is what powers the replay.
wow,
I know.
impressive.
Powered by Selkirk. Here we go. Impressive indeed on the court right now. 4-5-1. Parenteau and Irvine trying to claw their way back. Look how aggressive Jessie is there. Almost as aggressive as that forehand from Parenteau. She rips it right down the middle. There's a nice little example maybe of the bait. Catherine was a bit further back than Jessie, and so suggested to the Waters team that she wasn't as dangerous. And they learned the hard way that that was false.
Oh,
Ooh, that was dangerous.
and there's that long, powerful reach that I was talking about. She get a little help off the net too. Help that shot doesn't need.
Yep, the players are going to switch sides now that one of the teams has 6. This always happens in the third game. Best of 3 match.
That's when the leg cord plays a big part of the game. It can help you and it can hurt you. And when you have that much power off of that neck cord, it's just gonna do its thing. It's gonna do something you have no clue. So when it's softer, sometimes what happens is that the ball actually comes up, and then you get,
You have time.
somebody
to
has an
adjust.
overhead instead of a tougher ball.
Right. Yeah, because you're kind of leaning back already on your heels, right? Going backwards. So sometimes you have enough time to lean forward again. Although we've seen you make some amazing shots from your seated position, Simone.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go. 6-5-1. Catherine Parenteau delivers to the forehand of Leigh Waters, and then has a long way to run as she and Annalie cross sides. Jessie Irvine working. I don't even think we've seen around the post in this match, have we?
Nobody's giving angles, that's for sure.
Well, these players, I mean, that's one of the tricks here, right? If you want to move someone off to the side of the court, whether it's to expose a weakness or just try to make them move and open up that center of the court, you got to be very careful not to hit on too sharp of an angle that it opens up that around the post, because it's so tough to defend against. As Catherine Parenteau tries to defend but can't quite come up with it. We'll see in the replay here. Side out, Waters get the ball back, serving at 5-6, game number 3, women's pro doubles for gold.
Wow.
That's so tough. They're definitely putting the foot on the gas pedal right now.
So quick question from Ryan Pang. Ryan, why is there no lobbing? The players are so close to the net. It's one of the things that people often think when they see pickleball for the first time is players are so close. The trouble is lobs are incredibly risky. You hit the ball a little too short or low and it gets pounded at you. You hit a little too high or fast and it goes out. So you really do have to be perfect. And against women who move as well as these 4, perfect becomes even more perfect. Perfecter, if you will. And it's so tough. So it's a very high-risk maneuver. And as Simone was telling us earlier, Ryan, when it's a little bit sunnier out, maybe there's a bit more of an opportunity to play lob. But right now, these players really respect the movement skills and the power of each other. Annalie defends there. That ball finds a way inside the purple.
Or while you were describing the lob, another opportunity is to change things up, and Annalie did that, but going behind Jessie Irvine, and that was nice to see. How important is that, Simone, just to change things up, come out of those patterns you can get into?
Oh, absolutely, because, I mean, you don't want anybody to feel too comfortable out there.
Yeah.
So that's the big part of the game. But, I mean, one thing you got to be so impressed is that point before, how well Leigh was moving all over that court. That's just so many good gets and resets, and it's just impressive. It's just, this is as good as it gets, no doubt about it.
Coming off your
Jessie,
heels on that back line.
She thought the ball was
She
out.
thought that ball was out, looking for the call. Got to think she's not going to be happy if they don't come out on top from this point.
Oh, Catherine. Oh, man.
We'll see her give a stare down to the line judge.
They're still upset about what they thought was an out ball, but they're going to have to let that go and move on. I mean, you can't go back at this point. It'll be interesting to see how that affects them mentally. I mean, they're by far not near out of this thing at 6-7.
You'll hear a huge come on from Catherine if they win this point. I guarantee you. Oh, no.
Oh,
Well, that's unfortunate.
yeah, that's unfortunate. That's
Waters pretty happy about that.
Absolutely.
7-6-1, they're serving. They're within 4 points of taking this match and the gold medal. Parenteau and Irvine, they've got
so
some
good.
other plans. That ball's a little too
Yep.
Oh,
high.
and that's in. I mean, she had a lot of court there to get that ball in, and Catherine thought it was going to sail
Well,
wide.
she hit a third and then a fifth, and then she got in quick.
8-6-1. Continuing with that third shot drive.
That's a good ball. Wow. Nice get.
Oh, and that's trouble.
We talked to Leigh earlier about that decision to play the third shot drive, and she said, look, these returns are so tough. They're so deep and so spinny. A lot easier for us to use our third shot drive, and if it does get returned back, it's going to be an easier ball to handle for the drop. So that third shot drive, fifth shot drop combination is when we're seeing a little bit more in pickleball. And Waters, that's typically their go-to.
Yeah, that was a really nice dink by Jessie. It was low over the middle with a lot of spin, causing Leigh to have to adjust and really force the error.
That's a great spot again. They're just hitting really good spots. I mean, it's tough when hit the ball through the middle and then they expecting middle and then she goes wide. So they got to move wide, and I mean, that's tough.
Doing a great job of just changing things up.
6-8-2, Irvine Parenteau.
That's
Ooh,
out.
that ball is just a little bit too much from
She hesitated.
Waters. Yeah.
She went to take
Changed her
pace
mind
off.
a little bit.
Well, because she's so good when she's really fast through her spin, like she's going accelerating through it, and that one she took the pace off and decelerated, so that sailed.
Irvine trying to make her way up to the net, but again, that ball
There
sits
you
up
go.
too high. And against Waters, you can't afford to give them chances on an elevated ball. They're serving at 8-7.
And it was also a great example of keeping your opponent back. Catherine was trying to creep in, but Leigh was keeping the ball back, hitting it back to the player that was further back, and Jessie at that time.
Jessie Irvine finds the right spot to put that fastball. And Waters struggling a little bit to get off of 8 here. Good play from Parenteau and Irvine. There's another one.
Wow.
Gotta think this is getting close to timeout time.
Now they only have one left.
Gonna save it for a little bit.
Yeah, they used it. Remember on the beginning of that.
Just a reminder right here that if Parenteau and Irvine are able to win this third game, it will go to a tiebreaker game, and that's going to be a race to 15. If Waters are able to hold on, they're going to take the championship. Wow, that's a nice overhead.
And they're calling that ball in, and Jessie is not really happy with that call either.
I think she was hoping that would be out rather
Yeah,
than
I think that hit the
that
line.
little
I mean,
inside
it's-
out. It's tough. 8-8.
Side up.
With that side out, And Leigh, the 12-year-old, serves a good deep serve, but Parenteau handles it well.
Oh, that was a
Deep
tough
volley.
one.
Deep volley.
Yeah, just too tough to get that one back.
Here's that third shot drive, fifth shot drop combination we talked about. See Annalise staying back from that line.
No, over.
There we go. And they're
They
getting
set
a-
it up very well. That's their 1-2 punch right there.
Yeah, it's nice to see the patterns at work here for Waters. Leigh serves here. They're up 9-8, just 2 points from victory. Wow. There we go. Young Waters handcuffs Irvine on that forehand side. We talked about how dangerous a spot that is to aim for. And right now we're looking at championship points. Leigh Waters serving 10-8-2. If they win this, they win the gold.
Fearless.
And there it is.
And that's in there.
And look how excited they are.
Waters and Waters can hardly believe it. Annalise says, "Wait, Mom, we got to go. We got to go hug our opponents."
That's amazing.
What a terrific performance by all four of these women, but especially by the mother-daughter duo. Scott Lippitz on Facebook says,
That's so
nothing
cool.
like the chemistry between a mom and daughter. That's the X factor here. And whatever it is, they had it tonight as they take this match. 6-11, 11-8, 11-8.
Just great playing. I mean, honestly, like, they set up their pattern so well. It's that 1-2 punch where Leigh, starts it and then Mom just finishes it. So it works. It works very well.
Melissa McCurley, and a moment ago, Simone Jardim, live at Nationals. Stay close.